Well, you've had a couple of days to think about it and look at it and talk about it. What did you come up with? What was it sort of posted?
Yeah, I mean, the game was no better in review than what it was live. So we had, I guess, quite a confronting review for this time of the year, and we expect, no matter what game we play, whether it's an NAB Cup game or a practice match or round one, there's expectations that we put on ourselves internally, and they certainly weren't met last weekend.
Was it more about you guys or about them?
No, it was more about us. We certainly acknowledged that Geelong played really well, but we're not playing to the standard that's expected of this group, and the players are aware of that. As I said, we had quite a confronting review, and we've got plenty of room for improvement. We're running out of time, but we've still got 17 days, 4 main sessions, and one more practice match to get things right.
Would you say you're 2 weeks behind, or can we put it?
No, not really. I mean, I think sometimes people think you can flick the switch with form, but you can't. You do have to get in form. So we've got one game to do that, and a couple of important main sessions to ensure we're playing the way we need to play.
So are you concerned? It's only early March. Are you concerned about the way the group is performing, or attitude, or what is it?
I think coaches were always concerned. Even if we're playing well, we were concerned about something. But certainly this time last year, we hadn't lost a game yet, and we were playing some pretty exciting footy. This year we beat Fremantle, but still, wasn't convincing. We were 6 goals down at half time in a practice match. But having said that, we've almost given every player on our list some sort of exposure to some AFL footy at this stage of the pre-season. So we look to settle the team down this week, but we're a bit rusty. We'll almost pick our best, 24, 25 this week to make sure we're ready for round one.
How did you confronting review? What did you pinpoint as being the major issues?
Too many to list, and I won't go into specifics, but a lot of it was just work rate. We're not working as hard off the ball as what we've become accustomed to, so that's something that can be addressed really quickly. A few things structurally, at times our forward structure was not how we expect it to be, and we're giving up big scores, which is not our style either. So I've pretty much named all parts of the ground there, but we need to get back playing our way pretty quickly.
But work rate's an attitude problem.
Exactly.
Is that a concern?
No, because you can change your attitude, like I mentioned before about flicking the switch. You can't flick your switch with form, but you can certainly flick your switch with attitude, and we'll get a much better effort this week, I'm sure.
Why would it be down?
It's a good question, because we're not starting well. So the 3 games we've played, we've started poorly. So that's like you said, purely an attitude issue that we've addressed with our senior players, and it's something that we've got to get on top of pretty quick.
They haven't given a reason for being a little bit mentally tuned out?
No, not really. I mean, the opposition sort of play a part in that as well. If they're up and about early in the match, that can probably affect us a little bit too if we're 2 or 3% off the speed. But I think at one stage last weekend we'd had 2 inside 50s and they'd had 20. We were kicking the ball at 30% efficiency. They were kicking it at 92. So sometimes it's just the pressure around the footy. Our boys want to win and they're trying hard, but there's levels of trying hard, if that makes sense.
Are you going to be looking to get an extra game in a lot of your players, like through the SNL?
No, we won't. There'll be some young players who would have had 2 or 3 weeks without a match who will play in this AFL, but once we settle our side down, what we think our sort of 22, 23 will be, those players won't play the week before our first game. And I know Essendon, Fremantle and West Coast, who also play in week 1, they'll be the same. So none of those teams want to play a practice match the week before round 1.
Is starting a week earlier sort of like thrown you out a little bit?
It has. It's been a challenging fixture for us. It's been very disjointed. So we played week 1, then we're going to have a week off, play 2 games, have a week off, play round 1, have Easter off. So I think we just sort of need to get in a bit of a routine, bit of a rhythm now. We're looking forward to sort of the start of the season to get some normality into how we train and play, but we're doing our very best to manage the squad so they're getting enough footy into them before the start of the season.
Carlton's been in good form. How important is it that you guys play well this week?
Yeah, it's important. Carlton look great. I mean, I watched them beat Fremantle last night on the replay, and they're playing some really good footy. They They've got good method, they've got good speed, they're attacking well, they're defending well. So, you know, Mick's done a great job in getting that group up and about this time of the year, and there's certainly going to be a challenge this week, and they're playing for a NAB Cup Grand Final, which I'm sure they want to get into.
You've spoken a lot about your record of not having dropped 2 in a row since you've been in charge. Is that going to be important to get the win this week? Would it be a psychological blow to lose that record?
Yeah, it might be, yeah. I mean, it's not do or die that we win this game. Just want to get back playing some good footy, so it's more important that we get the points in round 1 and then round 2 and so on. But I just need to see a different attitude, like we mentioned before, structurally a bit better organised, and it'd be nice to get the win. But at the same time, yeah, just start to play our way. It's important.
Brent, it's probably a good time of year for this to be the case, but this is the first time in your coaching career that expectations outweigh performance. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, that's a good analysis. But we put really high expectations on ourselves internally as well. So we're not getting what we want at the moment. But it's early March. You know, I know the top 3 sides have won 1 game between them. You know, Hawthorn haven't won a game, Sydney haven't won a game. We've won 1 of those little short ones against Port. So is it panic stations? No, far from it. But we have to get back to playing our way pretty quickly.
Who are some of the guys you're trying to bring back against Carlton?
There's 5. Sam, Shaw and Petrenko, who haven't played any footy yet. They'll certainly play at least a half. And we'll also bring back Talia, Sloan and Callanan, who were all pretty much rested last week. So yeah, we'll make 5 changes to that side that played against Geelong on the weekend.
So who drops out?
I'm not sure yet, haven't got that far, but we'll look at team balance, we'll look who needs the minutes. As I said before, most of our guys outside of Shaw and Petrenko have had some sort of exposure, at least 2 games. Or after this week, they've had at least 2 games. So that was always our plan, is to try and get some minutes into all of our squad. But by the end of this round, yeah, we should be pretty much ready to pick our best team for round 1.
Commissioner has basically called for coaches to get used to the rotations because they're coming in, 2014. But obviously, it's going to affect you and it's going to affect the players. Do you feel any sense of responsibility to voice your concerns, considering it's going to be you guys?
Yeah, how can I say this nicely? It's important that, I guess, the clubs get their say and they get listened to. And I think what will probably happen is the 18 clubs will unanimously vote against it, and it'll probably still come in. But the cap's okay. We'll play by whatever rules the AFL bring in. That won't be the issue. It's, I guess, the number that's important. So we'll have to make sure, after consultation with the AFL, that we're all happy. Hopefully they don't say it's for injuries, because we rotated more than anyone last year and we had the lowest injuries. So the injuries aren't a factor for rotations. So hopefully when they make a decision, they're really clear in why they are making this adjustment to the rules.
Are you keen to be heard and have your say as to what that number might be?
No, not keen. I'll do my best to be heard, but I don't think I will be heard.
Have you got a certain figure in mind?
I said it after the game that we average about 155, 160. We can't make any more than that. We're at the limit. Unless they make the game longer, we can't make any more rotations. So that's the maximum. If it was 130, we'd live with it because it's fine, but we rely on speed. I like a fast game with us. That's how we train our players, speed. But if it's less, if it's 120, 130, that won't impact us a great deal, I don't think. But 80 certainly impacted us on the weekend.
And below 120 would be some concern?
I don't know whether people would notice it. Maybe over a longer season they would. Maybe you get more fatigue injuries. I'm not sure. I mean, they'll certainly provide some sort of study that will prove that less rotations works. But yeah, we'll provide some other studies as well.
Do you think that could affect how you go about recruiting?
Most definitely, yeah. Most definitely.
And the way you train as well, I guess.
Yeah, it will certainly affect the way that we pick players at the draft, and certainly affect how we train. Yeah.
So you need more endurance players, obviously.
Yeah, we'd need more players between the heights of 188 and 192 centimetres with a really good aerobic capacity. Guys like Jared Petrenko, who's just flat out for 5 minutes and then off, would probably find it harder to get a game.
Should the rules of the game committee take more notice from coaches? You said that you might say something and it probably won't get listened to. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I mean, the AFL come out and we have a meeting with them every year, and they ask us what we think and we tell them. And but the coaches all speak as well, you know. So we know what other coaches talk about, and I mean they certainly listen. But I mean, most of the rule changes they've made have been good ones. Like I'm on record as saying I think most of the rule changes have been really good. As long as they're making rule changes that don't change the evolution of the game in the way it's heading, you know, it's a fantastic game. We're getting big crowds. A lot of people watch it. I just don't want it to be ruined. That's all. I think every coach is the same.
When you said your 5 players come back, 5 will miss out, obviously. Could they be some bigger name players? Like, we necessarily play your best team this week, or does it come down to balance and how much game time they've had?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's some guys need to get in form. So from a coaching point of view, this time of the year, if you're out of form, do you play them to get them in form, or do you leave them out because they're out of form? You know, we're running out of time, but yeah, we'll have to make that decision, I guess, at selection this week, and we'll get some experienced players in good form. And unfortunately, some guys will miss out this week. It's not the end of their season, but it's certainly an opportunity for some young players to put their hand up.
Is Taylor Walker's form a bit of a concern?
He's played 1.5 games. He's been tearing it up in the summer. I'm not so worried about Tex. He lowered his colours on the weekend, but he'll bounce back and play well this week.
You got Kurt Tippett's spot filled yet?
Not sure. I don't think so. No, we're still debating what our best makeup is forward. So yeah. I mean, he didn't play a lot of games for us last year, and we still won. So yeah, there's some different looks we can show the opposition.
Is the gastro bug gone, or is still some players being affected by that?
No, all the boys are back today. We had 12 players not trained, or we left the club yesterday with who were violently ill. But that's not an excuse for the game. They weren't sick during the match. They were sick after the game. So it was just like almost a 24-hour bug. All the boys got sick, and a lot of the boys got sick and went home. But they're all back today, and they trained fully today, so they'll be fine.
Aidan Riley was subbed out pretty early. Is he another one that perhaps lowered his colours? How's he tracking?
Yeah, that was planned. We expected to give him a half and then Crouch a half. So that was always planned. But yeah, he can certainly play better than that. So he'll be one that who needs to play well this week.